What's up? Welcome to So I Was in This House podcast. My name is Everett. I'm your gracious host. I'm here with a remarkable individual whom I've now known for the better part of 5 or so years. Actually, when I was on your podcast,
The old one. Yeah.
the old one, yeah.
The OG.
The OG HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. Very cool. I would like to just thank Pivotal for sponsoring this podcast. And so Evan, what are you doing here? What's
You tell me. You're the one that had me on. No, I had to go throw on my Blue Jays jersey here quick because you were wearing your Yankees hat. And as Vladdy so amazingly said after the ALDS last year, the Yankees lose.
That's it's such a sad thing to like hear because like that quote, the Yankees win, like it's such a pivotal, like quintessential, and John Sterling died this year. And so, and for those that don't know, I mean, it's like this guy like had nicknames for everybody, and it was really sad, actually. Like one of the few times I probably cry, like it's literally I cried like when
Well, he's a legend in the game for sure.
Broadcasting,
Yankees history,
yeah, I think just baseball history in general. I mean, the guy, he's one of those voices that just lives on into infamy.
Probably only behind Vin Scully, like in terms of recognizable voices within the industry.
Who was the guy that was for like the Boston Garden? There was an announcer for the Boston Garden that was also like and there was one for Notre Dame, I think. But yeah, there's like these, and radio is like, it's so weird because I think like the New York market's like one of those markets that actually like people still listen to. They'll be working, on the job, like like working on a boiler or whatever, and they'll be listening to the game in the background. Like some of these markets, I don't know if it's like that in Toronto or not, but for the Jays, it's kind of funny because whenever I interview anybody, I will, when I do my like social media post, I'll tag like the city that I think they live in, and sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm not right. So
you threw up a Vancouver for me on Instagram. So
and
that was incorrect.
I don't think but somewhere in Canada for sure.
Yeah, somewhere in Canada, exactly.
Yeah. So Evan, you have such an incredible history in this in this world, in the home services world. Tell me, like, do a little intro. Like, for people that will listen to this, they don't necessarily know who you are. Who are you? And
so I got my start in the home services space. I think I was 24 maybe. I was a comfort advisor, and I was selling Cutco before that. So heavily into direct sales. I had ran my own Cutco office at the time, like all college kids seem to do. And I got hit up by a headhunter. There's an HVAC company here locally that was looking for a comfort advisor, and saw my sales experience, so had me out. And I was like, well, I've always been curious if I'm actually good at sales, or is it just the knives? Like, because they were freaking good knives, right? The scissors can decimate a penny, right? You cut the leather, you cut the rope, they sell themselves. It was great. And so, I took the job. I was like, are we allowed to curse? I think we are.
Yeah, you do. It's fine. Yeah.
Good. So I was like, fuck it. Let's give it a shot, right? And so went in for the interview, got the job. But I told them, I was like, look, I'm still doing Cutco full time. Like I was doing branded gifts at the time, working with real estate agents. So I was making great residual income off of that, but I really wanted to give it a shot. So I was like, I'll give you 3 days a week.
How good were you at Cutco?
I was pretty all right.
Really? Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, I was there for 8 years. So, I mean,
What? I never heard anybody do Cutco for 8 years.
Exactly. Right.
I mean, I knew like back in the day, that was what you did. Like if you came
Yeah.
out of like high school or college or whatever it was, and you wanted a job, like, and you were like, I want to make some money, you would like
You get the
knock on-
flyer. It said like $20 per appointment, which you thought was $20 an hour. So everyone's like, absolutely, I'm a college kid. Where can I earn that kind of money? Now, I mean, people are handing that out at Tim Hortons up here in Canada or McDonald's down south. But I mean, everyone, no one really could make that kind of money in college. And so I took the job. It was supposed to be a summer gig. Stuck around for the fall as well. Ended up winning a scholarship, which was really cool. Um, uh, actually bet this kid in our office that I would beat him. He had like a $10,000 lead on me. But I bet him that I would beat him, and I didn't end up beating him. And so I had to give him my scholarship money. But I ended up making more anyways because of that competition and that drive that I had to want to beat him, even though he had such a huge lead. Yeah, I really wanted to beat him and I didn't, but I ended up making more money anyways than what the scholarship was for. So I was totally fine with it.
Yeah. You like my little thing here? Cutco legend Evan Hoffman.
There you go. I like it. So yeah, anyways, fast forward 8 years after Cutco, had a blast there. So many memories, so many friends.
So you
lifelong
knocked on
relationships.
doors for 8 years?
So here's the fun thing is you think it's door knocking, but it's all referral based. And this kind of ties into what I started doing as a comfort advisor. So I get hired at this company. All they're doing is Home Depot leads, which are really expensive. Like if you know the marketing and the business side of it, the Home Depot leads, the Lowe's leads, they're expensive. They charge a lot for them.
They charge
right?
10%. Yeah.
And so instead
It's less
of getting
than
a
that,
regular,
but when you add in the operating expenses to do it, yeah, sure.
exactly, because you got to staff the actual location and then generate the leads. So if you don't have someone good that's in there, it's even more expensive. But we were generating those leads. So any Home Depot lead that we got was a 7% commission instead of a 10% commission. So I was taking a 3% haircut every single lead that they were generating. Well, that was all the leads that they were generating. And so it didn't take long. It was about 2.5 weeks that I was there that I got frustrated with, I'm seeing the numbers trickle in terms of my sales, and I calculate what it should cost to generate those leads. And I'm irritated that I'm having to give up 3% on all the sales in order to do that. And so I was like, well, am I allowed to generate referrals? Like, is that a thing that I'm able to do?
Mm.
And he's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, if I just ask them for referrals, is that okay? And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's fine, but no one really does that. And I was like, okay, well, like, is it okay if I do it? They're like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, great. What's something that I can offer? Because I didn't know HVAC. I was like, what's something that I can offer that would actually be of value that would, reciprocate my gratitude back to them for them writing down some names for me? And he's like, I don't know, like you can give them like a maintenance plan, but that'll be expensive. I was like, okay, well, what else could I do? He's like, what about filters? I was like, great. How much do filters cost? He's like, our cost would be maybe like $4 a filter. I was like, okay, cool. So if I buy him a year's worth of filters to give me 2 names, 10 names, like that'd be cool. He's like, sure. If you can get them to do that, absolutely. Like, great. So off I go do my 15 appointments that they had generated for me off of Home Depot. The next week, he had no availability in my schedule for any of the Home Depot leads because I had generated 5 to 10 referrals off of every single appointment. I bought them a year's worth of filters in order for them to do that, whether they bought or not. They might have not bought a system from me, but they still got a free year's worth of filters. And I collected 10 names.
Now, were you in the stores generating leads yourself too?
Oh, okay. No, I was just in the home. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, just in the home.
Pretty smart.
So he was like, what are you doing? Like, how are you doing this? So I explained the whole process. I showed him what I was doing. I showed him my phone script because at Cutco, you're taught to always follow a script, right? So I showed him my phone script of what I wrote down and what I did and how I made the phone calls and how often I called them, and I tracked everything. Because again, Cutco, you track everything. And so yeah, my next week was completely full with referral appointments. And so I made 10% on all those sales instead.
Pretty
And
smart.
so then
That's pretty hustly of you.
It's all I knew. Right. And so then I figured out that, I'm actually decent at this whole sales thing and lead generation thing. So I showed them how to do that. Other guys did it a little bit, but not really. Because as you, I'm sure, know as well, having run multiple different businesses, just because you do something doesn't mean everyone else does it. Even though it's a proven process, doesn't mean that everyone follows it. So I started asking questions. I was like, well, why is it that we only rely on Home Depot? Like, there's so many other ways that we can get phone calls. Like, why is it that this is the only thing? And when I ran my Cutco office back in 2009, I was running Facebook ads trying to recruit university kids because we could get leads for $1, $2. Like, it was really, really cheap back then. And now fast forward to 2014, it was still really, really, really cheap. And so I showed them how to run Facebook ads. And so we started doing that, and they were terrible. I mean, I wasn't an expert at it by any means, but we started getting leads in. And then I said, well, why aren't we running Google ads? And again, 2014, 2015, like, they were really, really cheap at this point. So we started running some Google ads, and lo and behold, we started getting more leads that way. And so they started dropping Home Depot stores because we were getting leads cheaper.
Is that right?
And I got hooked.
And this is in Canada?
This is in Canada.
Wow. So that's pretty cool. So you kind of like took over, like, it wasn't so much that you were doing a sales role. You were really like helping with the business in general. So you were helping to generate the leads and then also going out there and like selling the leads. That's actually pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah. It was fun. It was a blast, but that's how I got hooked on the marketing side of things. But I still love to lead people. So I ended up getting another call from a headhunter shortly after that. And so I left the HVAC company. I went and worked for a jewelry store. I was like, now I need to sell something that I do not believe in. And so I went and did that. Turns out I really sucked at that.
Oh yeah.
And I was not good there. No. I talked a few people out of getting engaged because I thought that what they were doing was silly.
Stop.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Hold on. So I was in this jewelry store.
Dude comes in, he sits down in front of me, and he's like, am I doing the right thing? I was like, you met this girl 3 weeks ago and you're in here trying to buy a ring. What do you think?
Wow.
I was like, if you want to put down a deposit, like, go for it, but you should really think this over before you come and pay the rest.
Yeah, you're a terrible jewelry salesperson, by the way. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, that's horrible. You did the complete opposite. Yeah. Well, it makes sense though. Yeah. Well, he asked you for your advice. You gave him your advice, right? So, you know, I mean, at that point in time, you just give him the advice and you say, all right, well, here's your advice. And yeah, don't get married, dude. You ignore her for 3 weeks, you know. Man,
that was
so how long were you at the how long did you do the HVAC company for?
I was only there for about 5 months.
So in 5 months, you went from being in sales to like running marketing to then helping them get Google on, and all that time. That's very quick.
Well, because I wasn't running their marketing for them. I was just throwing out suggestions and then telling them to go figure it out. Because I still got to go run my sales calls, and I'm still only part-time. I was number 2 in the office in sales. Couldn't take over the number 1 guy, but my average sale was number 1.
Sure.
And my closing rate was higher than his, even though I didn't know really what I was doing.
Such a tiny time. It's such a tiny sample size, but it's good that you figured out what you like, what you didn't like. So you went to go sell jewelry. You sucked at that, and then and then what?
And then well, our other friend Thaddeus hit me up, and he said, hey, I've got this magazine opportunity. I think you'd really like it and be good at it. And so in 2015, I left the jewelry store and I went and started a magazine. Nice.
Hey, you got a comment in the peanut gallery here. Joe Listico. Yeah, I love Joe. He says, Evan has great advice, probably the best 2 cents I've ever gotten. Okay, let's hear it. What was the 2 cents?
So we were sitting in Vegas at Resort World, and we were sitting at the bar that's right across from one of my favorite restaurants there now, Crossroads. It was a sports bar, and we were just having some conversations with him. And I mean, as so many owners get caught up in the hype of trying to grow a $50 million, $100 million business. Joe was talking about that, but you could tell like his heart wasn't totally in that entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And at the stage that he was at in his business, he still hadn't rebranded yet. He was still SMP, heating and cooling, which you can ask Joe if you want to know what SMP stands for. You can ask him, Joe.
I think he told me once. I think he told me once. I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one. I liked it. It was a bet that he had made like back in college that he would start a company that was SNP.
Called SNP. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to
know. So yeah, he was running a great business, but he was always the low ticket offer because he was the one man shop. He was crushing it doing that. He was making really good margins. He was very profitable. But in order to start growing the business, there it is. Appreciate the vulnerability there, Joe.
Oh my
God. In order to grow the business,
like, here?
You have to give up a lot. You have to sacrifice a lot. And so we just asked him, like, Joe, like, is this really what you want? Like, what do you really want out of this? And he talked about spending more time with his family, and he talked about, being there for his daughter, and like, maybe going after this really big goal isn't necessarily what is going to get you that.
Yeah.
And he ended up building a really great business. He rebranded to Off the Hook, which I love the logo. I love the
branding is awesome.
All of that.
That's right. It's so good. Yeah.
So good. And ended up exiting the business. And I'm not sure what exactly he's doing now. Last I heard, he was trying to build a software, but couldn't be more proud of him and the work that he did put in. He hustled, he grinded, but he was able to still be there for his family.
How great is that? Look, that's a great story. And I remember, like, it was probably about 4 years ago that it went from like SMP. So it was not that long. That's a great job, Joe. Really great story. And I'm glad that you gave him that 2 cents. It's funny, when I was on your old podcast with Thaddeus, I remember you during that interview, I will actually never forget this. And you had like 3 or 4 like one-liners that were like these like zingers. And it was like, oh my gosh, look at all this like wisdom in a bottle and this like one little like, nugget of information. And I loved that. It was so good. I feel like I'm that guy sometimes where I'm just like, giving willy-nilly, just giving people like, I don't want to give you advice, but I'm going to give you advice. I don't want to give you advice. I'm going to do this one-liner. I don't want to give you advice, but I think what you're doing is wrong.
No, I mean, and you're great at it. Totally. Right. But you're great at it, and you're great at doing it through stories. And so when you can teach lessons through stories, you're not necessarily telling them what to do, but you are offering suggestions, and you can lead them down a path of maybe this isn't the right thing to do. And I think you do an amazing job at it. Plus your energy is infectious. And so people pick up on that right away, and they want to listen to you.
So, okay, you start this, you know what, so if you guys see on the bottom over there, I got this like scrolling thing of getting your financial score from Pivotal. That's pretty cool, actually. If you guys want to go on there, it does actually link in if you want it to link to your like QuickBooks, and you'll get like an actual financial score. Those guys are amazing. They're fractional CFOs in the trades. They strictly do home services in the trades. A lot of service side integration. They're fantastic. They'll do your accounting for you. So yeah, big shout out to Pivotal there.
Couldn't echo that more myself. I mean, having control of your finances is the only thing that's going to keep you alive. So understanding where you sit and what your score would be is incredible.
And hiring and sales and staffing and warehouse logistics and like everything else. It's like there's like all these tiny little things that you have to do to be super efficient in your company.
Of course.
And I think, and here's the thing, I think a lot of people that like are in the trades and or like look at service companies, and they don't understand, like, you get the same thing a lot where it's like, gosh, it was, I can't believe how much money this stuff has become and all this kind of stuff. I mean, the average trades company is what? I mean, not barely profitable. It barely makes any money at all. Even, at 5% or whatever it is. So, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
What's up, Trent?
you then went into, the marketing world, and you started On Purpose Media, right? Or you partnered up, and you guys.
Well, so I started the magazines first. They were like local neighborhood magazines. Still worked a lot with contractors because they want to get in front of homeowners. And then real estate agents were a part of that too, which was great because I, again, worked with a lot of them when I was with Cutco. So like they all kind of blended together. Published the neighborhood magazines, did that for a long time, but inevitably every business I talked to, like, I just want to get more customers. And like branding is great, branding is helpful, and that's really what the magazine was. It wasn't like this direct response coupon clipper type thing. And so, yeah, helping businesses figure out how to generate leads on a consistent basis. It was out of need. And what finally like broke the camel's back, so to speak, was I was talking to a business owner, sitting down with her, and I always started out every sales call with the same question of, hey, I went through your website, had a good read through there, looked at your socials, is there anything other than what I saw online that you feel like I should know about your business? And she looked at me and she's like, well, what did you think of my website? And I was like, what's up, Dan? I was like, it was all right. I'm not wanting to embarrass her or anything like that. And like tears started welling up in her eyes, and she had just paid $6,000 for the website, which you could tell was a lot for her.
Sure.
And it was a terrible site. It was awful. Not mobile friendly, didn't look good on a desktop either. Like, I don't know how they built this thing, but it was awful. And so I just decided then that I was like, I need to help these people and figure this out because there's too many people getting ripped off online. And so that's where I wanted to start the digital marketing company, and had some conversations with Thad to do it.
And then like, it's funny because like I heard from you that you started that podcast because it was just like fun to have conversations, and it wasn't even like now, dude. I mean, and not for nothing, like now every single marketing company has like some kind of a podcast, and it's like
all of them.
What's crazy is that some of them are really good, some of them are very resourceful. I'm not going to knock. I mean, obviously Cristiano, like to the point, like that's an incredible guest. All sorts of stuff.
Which, by the way, like shout out to him right now. I don't know if you saw the video last night, but
oh man,
yeah, I was down in Phoenix. I had asked him if he wanted to record literally 2 weeks ago, and he had said that he can't right now, and he just had a little procedure done on his throat, and he'll let me know.
My heart sunk when I saw that post. My heart sunk, and I was fortunate enough this last October I recorded at his studio, and actually
it was a great episode.
I loved that conversation so much, and like at the end of it, like for him to say, like he was like, this was cathartic. He's like, I haven't revisited my like yellow book and yellow pages sales days like in forever. He's like, I don't know how you got it out of me, but like, this is crazy. And I just loved it. I loved the conversation. I really did. If anybody's listening, go listen to that episode with Cristiano. He like has a tell-all. He talks about his private equity deal that he obviously is no longer a part of now. He exited that business completely. And I'm glad that he's doing the podcast stuff. I'm glad that he's like really focused on it. I mean, now he's got to get healthy. My heart, literally, I'm praying for you, dude. If you listen to this, or if anybody's listening to this and talks to him, like, dude, I am legit praying for you, bro. I'm like, I have like an affinity towards him. He and I don't even know each other that well. Like we just know each other like through this business. Right. But when I found out about the throat cancer, I mean, it was like, just my heart just sunk. And he was so gracious too. Like went to his studio, and like, he was just, everything was so nice. Gave me shirts, and he was like, I mean, it was just, and the information that poured out of him, and he was just super cool. And I really enjoyed spending time with him. I hope I get the chance to spend, more time with him. But we'll see. And
for anyone that didn't hear, like, yeah, he's got throat cancer, but it sounds like it's very treatable. Very like it sounds very, 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 very optimistic. So
it might be, but it's like, it doesn't take away from the fact that there's going to be radiation and chemo and all that other stuff. And it's like the mental, what I think about in that moment is like, look, I mean, I always think about, obviously I think about my family and my kids. I think of, are they going to be okay? But I also think to myself, like, to me, I would wallow in it, right? I would try not to, but I would, you start to face your own mortality at that point in time. And, and and you can really reflect on it, man. And so we do all this, and we work in this industry. You work in this industry. We're busy, man. I put in such a long day today, and then now I'm doing this podcast, which I love doing, right? But it's like we work really hard, but we work really hard, for our families, and it's important for us to reflect on that sometimes, because sometimes I think that we spend so much time with our our work life that we don't necessarily focus on our family life in the trades specifically. I don't think we do, right?
And not only do we not focus on it, but and we'll get to Trent's question.
We'll get there.
This is important
for sure.
So a couple buddies of mine, one is Hal Elrod. He went through cancer, wrote a great book. He's actually been through a lot. He's a remarkable individual, but in his journey through cancer, definitely faced mortality. He was given only like a 20% survival rate. He did end up beating it, did a whole bunch of things health-wise to help with the radiation, the chemo, and how to deal with that. But another friend of his, John Vroman, both Cutco guys. That's why I actually do know them, and I've paid them for coaching and mentorship and all kinds of things, and got to spend a bunch of time with them. They're fantastic individuals. But Vroman, he started the Front Row Dads. And the motto of the organization is, we are family men with businesses, not businessmen with families. And being able to put the families at the forefront. And I brought up Hal because, for him, he had this realization around, we spend all this time on trying to better ourselves. He wrote a book called The Miracle Morning. He spends a couple hours in the morning trying to take care of himself. But at the end, oftentimes the families get what's left of our energy at the end of the day, and they never get the best of us, right? And we rarely are able to spend time with them in the morning. We're rarely able to connect with them at night because we're exhausted. And coming back to what I said to Joe, being able to look in the mirror and really ask yourselves, like, is this what my family wants? Do they give a shit about all this money that I'm trying to earn, or do they just want to spend time with dad?
Dude, you're really hitting a like a soft spot. This past year, I had that same reflection, and it was a real come to Jesus, man. And going back, I caught a lot of heat back in the day. So I coached my son's baseball team. And his sports, and I was involved in my kids' activities for like a really long time. And I caught heat from work where they would say, like, they'd be like, man, you can't really, we got this busy season, it's this, it's that. And I'm like, I'm a dad first, I'm everything else second. And even with that, even with doing those things, I still feel like I was, couldn't necessarily give, what I could. I mean, obviously I spent a lot of time with them, but I think what you're saying is echoes so important. And for those listening and those in the trades and those not in the trades, anything you do, this is gold right here. We are family men with business, not businessmen with families. And that goes for women too. I mean, there's plenty of women out there. I mean, so many. So, all right. Well, we're praying for Cristiano. We're really praying for Cristiano, and we're also we're
and his family.
And his family for sure, man.
Yeah, he's got young kids too.
There was a question here. I don't know. It's a good question you're trying to ask. Was what other? See, this is interesting. I want to answer this too. What other than what's online should a customer know about you shows the gap? So it's like, I'll let you answer this question. I think this is a very interesting topic because it's like everything's available of what you want people to see online, right? But what else is there?
Yeah, 1,000%. And it's a great point by Trent. I know he's a brilliant strategist and marketer as well, and runs a great podcast too. I think he podcasts too. I've seen some of his clips online. Anyway,
well, we've established that everybody has a podcast now, so
everyone has a podcast. There you go. but no, and so when running on purpose, we do the intake form, we do the onboarding process, we try and gather as much information as we can out of a client, but a lot of times we were working with smaller contractors. They're still in the truck, they're still on the tools, and taking the time to really think through that was difficult for them too. And we weren't in an AI age where you could just pick up your phone and talk to it and it would type out everything and create this beautiful brand image. But, we would build a website based off the information we had, and then we got to make them sound really, really good because that's our job as marketers. And so it was kind of like this half-baked process where it wasn't truly telling the story, and it wasn't really able to separate what it is that made that business unique, because they couldn't dissect that for themselves. They couldn't understand what it was that made them unique themselves. So we did our best with what we had, but I did do a podcast here this last fall with Ken Moskowitz, and brilliant marketer, someone who's been around for a very long time. So before it was just blue words on a page and being able to rank on Google, he had to actually work through ad copy and how to create an advertising message that truly helped a business to stand out. But now he went through his own cancer battle, spent a year trying to take care of his health and get better. During that year, was stuck in a bed. So he decided, fuck it, let's learn AI. He go deep into AI.
Is this the guy you just had a conversation with?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I watched a couple of the clips. I got to listen to that episode.
It was a great episode. He poured so much knowledge in, and it was really quick too. It was only about 20 odd minutes, I think, 20, 40 minutes, something like that. But one of the things that he suggested was going into a tool like Manus or Claude or GPT and saying, here's my website. I want you to do a deep dive and tell me everything that you know about my business based on this website. And I would highly suggest that if you did this, use a tool that you're not using currently. So if you're deep on Claude,
so it doesn't know you already. Yeah,
exactly.
Like if you're using that, go to use Claude. Yeah,
exactly.
Cool. Yeah, it's not bad.
Sign up for a free trial with something too, right? Go to Manus or whatever and have it dissect that and say, what's my brand message?
Now this is very different. Now, obviously I like to talk about the human element of like what we do, but I've adapted this now to like everything that I do. So like I've been training guys that are like walking into houses, and I've been saying to them, and obviously, I ran, that Supply Smart. I had, 20 people underneath me. I said the same thing, and I'll say it. And you know what? I'm just one guy with an idea, but be their guy. It's like whatever you're doing, and listen, whatever you're doing, okay, like you're right. You may not be able to you will get in the door with your website, with marketing. You'll get in the door, right? Once you're there, now, okay, so what can this person know from you? What can they gather from you that they couldn't read? Well, obviously, the only thing that you really have is yourself and the things that you can communicate, and also you can be a resource for them and be their guy. And so I've been posting this and talking about it and screaming it from the high hills and being their guy. Whatever you're doing in life right now, okay, I don't care what it is, okay, just dude, be their guy. Feel like, stop thinking about all your selfish things that you like. What do they want? What is in it for them? What can you offer them? Not what you know what I'm saying? Like, what can you do for them? And I think that's where people get it wrong. It's always about, people have a very selfish mindset when it comes to business, right? I think they could be so much more successful. Gary Vee talks about this a lot. So anyway, I'm off the soapbox. There we go. I am off. No. Kathy Sprague says it's a great idea. She loves this idea. Kathy Sprague Nelson. Yes. Chicken Lady Speaks.
Chicken Lady Speaks.
She's the best. By the way, Kathy like quietly has one of the most popular reels that I have. And the reel actually says, it's like, she says one of three things happens in every single on-site that she does. And for those of you that don't know who Kathy is, Kathy does on-sites for operational excellence and all sorts of stuff. And so go watch the reel. She's one of three things always happens, and they're all terrible things. I mean, they're great for the business, but they're all like, I think she said somebody cries or somebody gets fired or somebody quits. Like one of those three things happens on every single time she goes on an on-site. So very cool.
And it's been a really good on-site if they do all three.
if they do all three. I do want to just give a very quick shout out for My Method AI. So by the way, and I did an episode with Ben Avicoli. He spent 11 years or whatever within the Department of Defense, and then he owned a business that was a Department of Defense contractor. And bro, he like, this is the crazy part. So he's custom designing all these like virtual like AI employees, Evan.
Yep.
And what's crazy about this, and I know there's everybody's got their allegiance to whatever they want, but this guy's been doing it since 04. Like he says that they've been like they were like spoofing like terrorist cells or whatever, like back in like 04. Like this is how long he's been doing it. So people say like, oh, I want the thing to say this, this, and this, and I want it to do this, and it does it. It's pretty remarkable. So thanks to My Method, Ben Avicoli, super guy. Cool. Yeah, I would say even if you're not interested in like any sort of like AI voice agent, like go have a conversation with Ben. It's remarkable. It's ask him some stories. Maybe he's got some classified things he didn't want to share with me. Who knows? I think he still has like security clearance. I think he's got like legit like Department of Defense security clearance. It's pretty cool. So I want to kind of circle like, you know, whatever it is, back to the podcast, which is now your podcast. It was you and Thaddeus's podcast. And for those who are listening, the HVAC Success Secrets Revealed was like one of the most popular podcasts in the HVAC space. I mean, it was you and Thaddeus, Tandu, and you guys owned a company together, and you guys had a divorce. That's what happened, right?
We did.
And so like I don't have to answer this, but I'm always curious, like sometimes partnerships just don't work out, but like any lessons learned there? Was like, it just like, was it just time? Like what, like, do you want to talk anything about like what happened?
Yeah, no. And I know he already came on the podcast and kind of told a lot of the story here.
That was like a year ago.
It was just over a year ago, because I was in Tokyo when you released the episode. So I was walking through a garden when I saw the post, and I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to watch this now, but I will later." And so I did. But no, there was nothing that he said that was not incorrect. I mean, we both were very similar in our skill sets. So that caused a little bit of friction there in terms of being able to actually move the business forward. And I wasn't living up to my end of the bargain. You know, were there things that I wish were done differently? Of course. Where, you know, communication I wish was done differently and been more open and honest about certain things throughout that process. You know, I was dealing with a lot personally, going through a separation and all of that too, which it's not an excuse, but it definitely compounds on the difficulties of dealing with running a business at the time. And yeah, I mean, in terms of going through it, it sucked. It really sucked going through it. Wouldn't wish that on anyone, to have to go through that in a negative way. Where it's not 100% like both parties saying, yes, like this is exactly what needs to happen right now. In hindsight, best thing that could have ever happened.
Oh, well, that's good.
So it couldn't have worked out better. I'm so incredibly happy to be at free agency now. Bree is just so brilliant, so gracious and incredible. And
what was the toughest part about that though? I mean, obviously you could see there's a visceral reaction. You obviously went through it.
Yeah, I mean, it was the financial side of things and having to put numbers on things. And I mean, I'm a very like just compassionate, caring person. And so I never want to like rip anyone off or anything like that. And at the same time, I got to protect myself. I got to protect my family. I'm going through a separation at the same time. So, you know, my ex is wanting to make sure that she's getting paid out of it as well. And so, like it's a compounding thing of having to deal with shit. So that part of it certainly was not fun. But are you cutting out or am I cutting out?
No, I cut out for a second. That's good.
Okay,
you
cool.
were talking. You were talking. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was awful to have to sit there and go through all of that, and at the same time, it was and I still couldn't bring myself to fuck him over in any way, shape, or form. I couldn't. I really wanted to see that company continue to thrive and continue to grow, and I wanted to
Mm,
see him win. I still want to see him win,
mm,
in business and in life, and, I wish the best for him. Um, we're we're not friends really anymore. I wouldn't call him up to go hang out or anything like that. Very amicable, like, I can see him at an event. I wanna go say hi to him when I see him at an event. We don't avoid each other or anything like that. It's not awkward, but it's definitely not. I mean, it's just like a
it's
breakup.
awkward. It's
Yeah.
awkward. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's just like a breakup. You see an ex at an event, at a bar or whatever, you go say hi, but you're not gonna go spend the night with them or anything like that.
Well, I mean, you came out of it, so
Yeah.
here you are. And so okay, so I gotta. So let's go this. Let's go. You currently act as a CMO. What we have comments here. Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas says, "Evan, you're my hero."
I appreciate that guy. He was one of the people that I reached out to for just some advice and help, and he was very gracious and helpful in all of it.
Yeah, Eric. By the way, I'm still waiting for that reschedule from your podcast from like 4 months ago. I'm just waiting around. Dude, I don't, it's fine, dude. It's so crazy. Like, I've been on, like, now that, like, I've got such a presence, which is weird. I get asked to be on everyone's. I get like 4 requests a day to like be on some sort, again, because as we established, everybody has a podcast, but it's pretty wild. And I'm actually, I also have an art. So HVAC Tactical reached out to me, and I'm supposed to. They want me to have a featured page article about this stories. I don't know. It's gonna be fun. But what's your favorite story? Weirdest interaction you've ever had with a customer? Go, and you have to start it with. So I was in something.
So I was in this house, and I'm sitting down with a client, and she starts telling me about like her daughter and her and her family and her history and everything. It took me about an hour and a half to get to the point of like starting to talk about products and like problems and solutions. It took forever because all she wanted was a friend. And I ended up staying at that house for about 8.5 hours.
What?
I was there. I was on the same call
Breakfast,
for
lunch, and
8.5.
dinner?
Yes, the entire day. We made frozen margaritas. We played pinball. She ended up adding me to her family email. So it was her daughter and her husband and her sister and me. And yeah, tremendous family. They're so great.
So
Gloria,
did
if you happen to be
sell the job?
listening. Of course.
Oh, okay. Just wondering.
Yeah, of course.
Just wondering.
And like reoccurring client too, ended up going back out multiple times. But yeah, and every time was at least 4 hours. Like I had to make sure I scheduled off most of my afternoon, if not the whole
day.
thing.
It was actually like kind of a break at that point in time.
Yeah.
You want to hear what's really funny? So I like these like long form podcasts. They really like, they're scintillating for me. I enjoy the conversation. So, but like, so I'm not really good at short form content. Like I just don't do it. So, but I was fascinated. Have you seen this woman that's rowing across the Pacific Ocean?
Yes,
she's going to be the first. Yeah. Okay. So do you know what a duet is on like TikTok? Do you know what this is? Okay.
Yep.
So I was in this house and I was like, what's this duet? And I saw a clip that she had and I was like, this is kind of neat. So I clicked duet and I'm like, oh, look, it's a side by side. I've seen these before. So then I decide, I'm like, I want to like, I'm fascinated with the planning that was involved in this woman rowing across the rowing. Okay. Rowing across
row your boat.
The Pacific Ocean, by the way, and like the planning and how much she had to prep and where the food is stored and like all this stuff. Comms and like, you know, like there's a rudder on it that makes sure that she like is always like with the tide. It's like crazy, right? So like all I did was a duet, and I was like, guys, I'm like, this woman is rowing across the Pacific Ocean, super cool. And I was like, you guys, if you're not inspired in some sort of way, like I don't know what you can be inspired by. And that was basically the gist of the video. So like I posted it, like it went for a week. It probably got like, I don't know, like 500 like views or something like that, which is like pretty average, maybe 1,000. Bro, that currently has like almost 700,000 views. And I have all these people now that are like interested in like what these, I don't know. Yeah. So it's actually, so now my lesson learned, by the way, is that, you know, it's never too late to either, you know, do something new, reinvent yourself, you know, whatever it is. So I sound like such a boomer saying that. Yeah. By the way, there's this thing called the interwebs, and if you go on it, yeah,
your age is really showing when you do that. But no, and Derek Cormier, he does it with HVAC too.
No, well, Derek Cormier does all short form.
Yeah,
and so does Willie, and so does Willie. Had a little podcast. He's not doing it very consistently, but yes, and Derek Cormier's, and he's scheduled to be on this podcast as with Doug Wyatt. I'm doing a culture episode, and it's in a couple of weeks. I also have Wally's coming on, Weldon Long's coming on, and since you're on right now, I'll announce that my episode. So by the way, you're episode 95, so pretty dope. Episode 100, it is confirmed. I got a text message from him. It'll be Tommy Mello. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be super cool. I kind of want to fly out to his studio. We'll see what happens. But I do have to make note of a comment that you can't see it on your end. A comment on that came through from your ex-partner, from HVAC Success Secrets Revealed and On Purpose Media. And Thaddeus Tondu says, catching up on this, but Evan, you still have a place in my heart. I love watching your journey, and I am rooting for you. And that is very noble, very sweet.
Yeah, no, it's a mutual respect that we still have for each other, and we're both cheering each other on.
Guys, are we like making are we like healing the world on the So I Was in This House podcast right now? I think we're yes.
At the end of the day, so I believe that forgiveness is not something you do for another person. It's something you do for yourself. And at the end of the day, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't my fault. It was what it was. It needed to happen. It was the best for both of us moving forward. So I have zero animosity towards it in terms of rooting for him, you know, wanting him to see success and still win clients.
So I have a question I ask on every episode. Anybody that's watched this knows this question. What is one customer experience? I'd like it to be customer. It can be a different experience, but what's one experience that you've had that shapes you in some sort of way that was so profound that it lives with you?
Man, there's a few. I mean, I told the story of Glory already, so I won't go back to that one. I mean, one that's always stood with me was I was in a beautiful house.
So you were in this beautiful house.
So I was in a very, very beautiful house, like Cinderella-esque, with the stairs spiraling up to the top floor on both sides when you enter in the main entryway. So you could tell they were fairly well off. And you know, get to the end of it, show him the price. It's like, yeah, sounds great. Ask him how he wants to pay. And he took out his card and just dropped it on the counter, and it went ping. And so I was like, oh, That's different. You know, you hear the thud of plastic and it's like, yeah, okay. And it was an Amex Black Card. And I was like, you need to spend $1 million a year in order to qualify for this. He's like, yes. It's like, alrighty. So fill out the paperwork, got him all signed up and everything. And then I stopped before I passed it back to him and went over it. I was like, you've done pretty well for yourself. Like, what is it that has helped you to succeed more than anything else? And he's like, there was a lot of things, but the number one thing is you got to be careful about who you surround yourself with. It's like who you spend time with will determine everything. If you're spending time with the wrong people, you will fail. I was like, all right. And so I've always been very cautious about how I spend my time, where I spend my time, who I'm spending my time with. And, you know, I from that day forward, I started looking at like books I read differently. It was like, my time is so much more valuable. I don't need to read a book like I'm trying to write an essay anymore. I need to get what I can get out of the book, act on it, change something, move forward. And everything started to become about time. So that, yeah, that was an impactful moment for me.
That's a great story, man.
Thanks.
It reminds me of the guy from School of Hard Knocks that goes around doing the street interviews with billionaires and deca millionaires. And like, I'm amazed at some of the things that some of those guys say. Like, a lot of those guys will say, like, they'll be like, you know, what's one piece of advice you would give the younger generation? You know, you've accumulated so much wealth. How did you do it? And like, I would say like half of them say something about people. Like, it's the people you employ. It's the people you surround yourself with. Yeah. And I love when he goes, for me, I like to send it to my kids because I don't want them to grow up with an entitlement, you know, sense of entitlement, which a lot of kids these days grow up with this sense of entitlement, which really sucks too, because AI is going to come for all these jobs. Right. So, I mean, I think we're already at a point where in the next 5 years, I can see 10% of the workforce going away. And they're just going to, it'll reinvent itself. Something else will come up. But as of right now, I could see coders and other things. But there's when he asks them, he says, hey, have you ever been broke before? And I love when the uber wealthy go, oh, dude, have I been broke before? Bro, to start this company, I sold everything I had. I was sleeping on a couch. I was hopping around. I love that. I love hearing that because it goes to show you you can do it, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesse Cole's story, starting this Fan of Bananas. I think that's one of the most inspiring ones that I've heard in terms of like selling everything, betting on yourself, willing to go all in, and really just obsess over the customer experience.
And actually, I watched like a long form video where he said this is he said literally everybody told me it was the dumbest idea they've ever heard.
Yep.
Like there were like dozens of people in boardrooms that were like, brother, you are not going to start a baseball team that's going to be called the Bananas. Okay. And do what you're talking about. No one's going to go to the games. You can't even get a ticket for the game. So it shows you how stupid people really are. Really. Like, it really does. And I'm not saying like every idea is going to make it, but you're right. Like if you truly believe something, there's a line in a movie, Evan, you just inspired me so much, man. You just really got it. There's a line from a movie. You know the movie La La Land?
I don't.
Okay, so this movie is amazing. Go watch the movie. Anyway, there's a guy, he's a jazz musician. He loves jazz, and he's like, jazz is dying, basically. And he loves jazz so much, and it's a musical. He loves jazz so much, and he wants to start, his dream is to start a jazz club in Los Angeles and or in the area. Anyway, so his girlfriend at the time, who is Emma Stone, is an aspiring actress, and she's trying to give him advice, but she's a failing aspiring actress. And but she says he's like in his head, and she says, People will love it because people love when other people are passionate about things. And I always think about that. I'm like, that makes so much sense. It's such brilliant writing. Because when you're infectious and you like something, I think it gets other people inspired as well. And I think that goes, by the way, I think that the more you like your job when you're doing it, especially if you're like in a service and sales role where you have to transact in order to like do any work, I think that actually for me in my career, it's helped me tremendously. I don't know. I'm sure for you, it works the same way. And
Absolutely.
You're okay. So right now you are, we're going to wind down in a few minutes here, but right now you are working on, what are you working on right now? Like, what's the big thing you're working on? Because now I want to know.
For sure. Well, and to finish one thought there on what you just said, an old mentor of mine, his name's John Berghoff, runs a great organization now as well. Another former Cutco guy. He said that sales is an energy sport, and the person with the most energy will win.
I agree with that. Totally agree. I'm chasing energy all day, man.
And it's draining, right? You lose it throughout the day. But anyways, I digress.
Seinfeld, Harry Seinfeld just said that too. He said actually said that. He said that he's like, what I'm after. He's like, money, that's fine. He's like, money is energy. He's like, what I'm after more than anything else in the world, more than anything I want to amass energy. I was like, yes, that's so brilliant.
It is, right? It's what gives everything life. And, you look at what the wealthy are investing the most in right now, it's their health. Because if they can buy more healthy years, they can live longer, they can do more, achieve more, chase more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, investing in your health, investing in your energy is the best investment you can make right now, for sure.
Okay. So what are you working on? And then we'll segue out and ride off into the sunset.
For sure. Well, number one, I'm working on my health. So shout out to Sean Michael Crane, joined Unstoppable 365 earlier this year. Been on that journey. It's been incredible. One, being a part of the group, being a part of the group of people that are in there trying to better their health, better their life. A lot of it is for their family because, they want to be around for the long term. And that's always been my vision with it too. Put on a little bit of extra weight this last 18 months or so, had another baby last August. So I put on the baby weight too. And so I had to take care of that and get that fixed. So that's been journey number one in terms of what I'm building. Want to increase my energy on a daily basis. Number two, it's the podcast. Started it out. It's now become just a little side venture, a fun thing to do. It's not a revenue stream, big income earner or anything like that. It's purely for the joy of having great conversations with people. And it's called Let's Vent. So we get to sit out there and vent about whatever it is that's on our mind. Doesn't have to be a negative thing. And a lot of people tie it back to what it is that I want to complain about. That's really not what it is. It's whatever you want to get up on your soapbox and share. And for a lot of people, it's about what's going right, which I've loved. But had some brilliant conversations. I really want to put an emphasis. I know you said you want to go down and see Tommy in his shop. I was trying to do it with him when I was in Arizona, but it didn't end up working out. He was on a family trip, but highly encourage you to do as many live podcasts as you can. That's all I'm doing now. So we'll travel around, we'll go see people, and
when you say live, you mean like in person? Yes.
In person, face to face. We want to be touching knees, right? Like that's when the best conversations really do come out for the most part. I think it takes a special individual to be able to do it online. Tersh is one of those people. You're one of those people who can really bring the energy and carry it. I am not like a super high energy, like go rah type of person. I will be consistently there and deliver, but I can't carry it at that level online as well. And so
that makes sense. Why there's a palpable energy in the room. I have two to be edited. I filmed them right in here just this week.
Nice.
I have Gary.
I saw the picture that you had of Who was it that you had in your, I believe it was your living room?
Yes. So it's in this room. I have this like really cool music room, this potpourri room. I've collected all sorts of stuff. I got Sublime posters and records and Broadway shows and all sorts of, I have pictures of me on stage in New York City. I got all sorts of stuff.
That's so cool.
But so actually it was, so there's a new podcast that's out. It's called Trash Talk. And
Nice.
I have a friend who is a hoarder clean out specialist. So you want to talk about, so I was in this house. So we filmed yesterday and her stories are insane. I mean, the things that and it's mental illness, bro. I mean, she's literally like healing people. It's remarkable. So we recorded that has to get edited, and I just finished editing Gary Singleton. And then I have a real estate agent later on this week who is like a successful real estate agent, and he's got lots of stories. And I haven't done a real estate agent yet, so that was really cool. So I was in this house. I mean, that's right. Actually, in podcast SEO, I come up as like it happens all the time. I come up like on the real estate end of things. It's like really, but it makes sense. So I was in this house.
You got house in the keyword. Yeah.
And a special announcement, Evan, and I'll let you sign off here. I just came up of all the keywords, #1 in HVAC service stories across the whole country. I am the #1 ranked podcast on HVAC service stories. I thought that was actually really cool. And I was very excited to see that statistic. I mean, it means absolutely nothing, but it means nothing, but it makes me smile.
Absolutely. That's all that matters. I mean, what else would you do it for? No, you're doing a fantastic job, dude. And I remember when you were just getting started with it, you told me about the idea and the name, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And you were the perfect person to be able to have conversations with people about it. So yeah, couldn't be more proud of what you've built and how great you have done with it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Coming from you, man, the OG, you really inspired me too. You and Thad inspired me. There's a couple of podcasts that like really inspired me to do this. Gil Cavy's one of them, HVAC Uncensored.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's really, yeah. So what else? Anything else before we sign off here?
Yeah, the last thing, and the thing that outside of my family that I'm most excited about is what I'm doing at Free Agency. So kind of like how Pivotal is a fractional CFO, we're a fractional CMO. So we come in, implement a whole bunch of strategy when it comes to marketing, how to grow your business. We do work with higher end businesses. However, we're really big on not just hitting home runs, but getting base hits. And we take a Moneyball approach to marketing. Bree got inspired watching the Brad Pitt movie on the Oakland Athletics from back in 2002, I think it was. Fantastic movie. Yeah. But the whole idea was, how do you take this ragtag group of guys and end up winning baseball games? And all they focused on was getting on base. And so we took that approach to marketing. And how can we do that by not just looking for, the home run, the grand slam? We wanted to get on base. And so we broke up marketing into different buckets. Based off of that, we spend based off of those buckets. And that's all we're trying to do, is get on base consistently and continue to move your business forward.
That's awesome, dude. And then if anybody wants to reach out to you, Evan Hoffman on like all socials. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson, the MVP of the NBA Finals, just said that he kept saying every single game. He kept saying, it was so weird. He's playing basketball. He's like, I just got to hit singles, and we got to get on base. We got to get on base. Got to hit singles. Got to hit singles. I'm like, dude, you're playing another sport. But you're talking about it in parables of baseball. By the way, congratulations to the New York Knicks. For those that don't know. I literally lived in a John Starks jersey and a Patrick Ewing jersey when I was younger. I have major issues with the ownership of that team, but in my heart, I've been a Knicks fan for a very, very long time, and I'm super happy they won. And it's like 53 years. My dad used to talk about them all the time. Special shout out to Cooper and Hunter, HVAC products. Please check them out. Cooper and Hunter US.us. Pivotal, fractional CFOs in the trades, and My Method AI. Guys, please book a conversation with Ben from My Method AI. You guys will not regret it. He will create your own, like whatever you want. He'll just create it virtually. It's amazing, the AI stuff he can do. Yeah, I mean, if you can answer the phone, you don't even know you're talking to an AI. It's remarkable.
That's super cool.
Yeah, dude, whatever voice you want. It's like literally whatever voice you want. Like he'll just like the one in Brooklyn that he's a customer in Brooklyn. It sounds like his name is Angelo. He's like, hey, he's Angelo. How you doing? let me book you a call, like just like that. And you have no idea that it's an AI. You're like,
That's awesome.
In fact, he has a video out there where somebody actually goes, "Are you an AI?" Like, had no idea. But anyway, that's pretty cool. Evan, thank you so much for coming on, guys.
Well, and to throw one last bucket into there, if you do want a free game plan in terms of what we would do if we were running the marketing strategy behind your business, you can go to freeagency.ai, click on the give me my marketing plan, and you'll get a free marketing plan. So,
oh, look at that. They're not gonna be able to implement it themselves. Then they'll call you, because that's how it's gonna work.
they can implement it themselves. Take it and run. We'll have a call with them and break it down for them.
Totally get it, man. Very, very cool, man. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much, everybody. Like I said, Wally Long's coming up. I got Gary Singleton dropping. I got so many people that are coming on. Episode 100 will be Tommy Mello. Super, super stoked about that. And I will catch you next time. See ya.
Cheers, dude. Thank you.
Later, bro.